Okay, we have made it to row D, which is looking at 2D, 3D, or drawing art and design skills. This is the one row of the rubric that differs based on the course that you're in. However, as we've discussed, there is still a lot of overlap in the 2D and drawing skills, so no matter which course you're taking, you can still learn from this. So we are going to start off with reading what the student wrote about their work and then go ahead and check it out. As you've done before, as we go through this, I want you to start to think about where do you think it falls on the rubric. Is it showing really strong 2D skills? Do you think it gets a 1, a 2, or a 3? All right, here we go. My body of work explores the functions of the subconscious mind in relation to mental health. I have always been very interested in psychology, had a lot of questions throughout my life about how the mind works, and I have tried to explore possibilities and find possible answers through the research I put into making these pieces. In most of my pieces, I focus on areas of mental health that I am familiar with, such as anxiety, depression, and gender dysphoria. Combining personal experiences, research, and anecdotes from the people around me, I attempt to portray a representation of the subconscious mind as a whole, as seen in images 1, 2, and 3, as well as specific subconscious effects on mental health, as seen in image 4 and 15, or maybe 4 through 15. Layering was a focus, as well as line and color when planning and executing. I consistently used winding vine-like lines to represent the deeply rooted behaviors and thought patterns that are controlled by the subconscious mind. The cluttered atmosphere of some of my pieces adds to the narrative that we don't have complete control over our subconscious mind or our lives in general, and it can be anxiety-inducing. Other topics I researched were the subconscious mind's role in addiction, how the mind works. Let's look at the work. Image 1. Materials, paint, pens, pencil, and gel pen. Process, research the subconscious mind, sketched a representative concept, and focused on perspective. Again, as you're looking at these, we are focusing on their use of the 2D design skills. Perspective is a 2D design skill. And we are seeing 1 point perspective going back here to a vanishing point. Image 2, photography. Processes, did research on what neuroimaging is and looks like, took self-portraits and overlapped neuroimages. If you had to pick one 2D design skill that you think they focused on, what would you guess? Image 3. Materials are gouache paint, alcohol-based markers, colored pencil, gel paint, paint pens. Processes. Looked into the percentage of the brain that is subconscious, sketched, experimented with layering. Image 4. Oil pastels and pencil. Processes. Research the relationship between dreams and the subconscious mind. Used scraping tool with pastel. Image 5. So these are some process images where we're seeing more exploration in a sketchbook. Use was material pencil. Processes. Took notes on types of dreams, effects of dreams, and disassociation on mental health, and brainstormed. Image 6. Colored pencil, Procreate. Processes. Started with colored pencil, took it into Procreate, and experimented with brushes and wrapping. Image 7. This is another process image. Pencil and marker. Processes. Research disassociation and how it is used as a coping mechanism, hence the armor. I will say in your process images, Now none of your work is scored individually. Your work is scored as a whole. The process images themselves, unless like your whole portfolio is process images, don't necessarily have to be as strong in those 2D or drawing skills as long as your finished pieces, and you have a decent amount of finished pieces, are really strong in that. If you say you have 10 process images and only 5 finished images, you want to be showing some of those skills in your process images. So it's a little bit of a balance. Image 8, materials, colored pencil. Processes, research dysphoria and one's subconscious relationship with it. Drafted, focused on line and depth. Image 9, pencil and procreate. Researched how the male gaze affects the collective subconscious of women. Image 10. So here we're seeing more process images that informed this image. Pencil and procreate. Sketched, brought into digital, focused on line, color, and form. Image 11. Colored pencil. Took my time to portray what I feel like dysphoria truly feels like and had input from others. So this is really them capturing themselves, working and creating. If you do an image where you're in it and you're creating, I recommend that you're doing it in a way that you're trying to show us something interesting about your process. So process images are not just to fill space. Process images are to give us more information. So it might be, maybe you're using tools that you made yourself to create the artwork. Maybe you're doing it to help us understand the scale because you're working on a really big piece or you're working on a really tiny piece. You want to think about still, what are you trying to help us understand by the process images that you show? Image 12, paint pens, alcohol-based markers. Process, research the relationship between the subconscious mind and addiction, sketched and experimented. Image 13, gouache, paint, photography, paint pens. Research grief and how that affects someone subconsciously, painted and incorporated collage. Image 14, colored pencil, paint pens, alcohol-based markers. Research nostalgia and its relationship with the subconscious mind, incorporated memories of mine. And image 15, acrylic paint. Research subconscious fears and how they manifest in dreams, sketched, went over the acrylic. Remember, for materials, you're talking about what you use, but also what surface are you putting those materials onto. You want to get as specific as you can, especially if those materials help in the previous row that we looked at, help in making some of those connections. All right, so row D, we have a 2. So this is visual evidence of moderate and good 2D skills. Since this is a 2D portfolio, it is being scored on the 2D skills. Rationale. Visual evidence of moderate and good 2D skills is evident throughout this portfolio. This work shows general technical proficiency using tools and materials. In image 3, line, layering, color background, color or cool background colors, variety and repetition are more developed. Still, the compositional choices and application of materials in most images, such as 11, 13, and 14, are less successful. In images 13 and 14, the juxtaposition of collaged elements is not unified nor highly developed. Overall, these images reflect a moderate level of accomplishment. In images 6 and 9, photographic and digital methods are combined with other media to create emphasis, contrast, and movement with moderate success. Texture, color, and movement provide unity in images 1 and 8, and there is visual evidence of good 2D skills. Thus, the range of skills in the portfolio is moderate and good.